Well, what can I say? It seems that I must have the itch for vibrant, colorful, multiplayer-centric games as of late. And today, going along with this spirit, I say, why allow no-jump challenges to be an almost strictly Kirby phenomenon? For today, we bring that challenge into a whole new game. Fall Guys. Is it possible to win Fall Guys without jumping? So how exactly are our rules going to shake out for this challenge? Well, we can't jump. Simple as that, really. Although I am including diving as part of jumping in this challenge, so no jumping or diving. Aside from that, we can grab, we can run, yeah. That's about it, but that's what we can do. If we can manage to win a show on Fall Guys while having such limitations imposed upon us, then this is a challenge successful. Oh, and additionally, I will be playing on a completely fresh Fall Guys account on the Switch version of the game. And the only shows we'll be doing will be the standard solo show. Got all that? Good. Now let's get into a show and see what's up. Alright, so the way Fall Guys works is up to 60 players get thrown into a battle royale with each other. The way one gets eliminated is by failing to qualify in various minigames and obstacle courses. To get past these challenges, one generally must use all of the moves at their disposal. Moving, grabbing, jumping, and diving. For us, those last two are obviously off limits. Now, it's random as to which games and obstacle courses specifically come up, and to say we have wildly different prospects depending on the game would be an understatement. Some are near guarantees at qualifications, while others are literally impossible. Still others I never personally saw at all. So it would seem to me that the best way to go about explaining this challenge would be by going through and explaining each minigame one by one. I'll alternate between what are in my experience the most common and rarest minigames. Oh, and one last thing, all this footage you'll be seeing from the game was sourced from my Fall Guys Challenge Let's Play over on my Let's Play channel. So if you want to see every second of the struggle to win Fall Guys without jumping, head over there and check out the Let's Play. But for now, let's look at Dizzy Heights. The most common game we encountered. Just a shame it also happens to be impossible. And I really hate this fact because I'm actually pretty good at it. The circular treadmills, no problem. Ditto for the ball halls. The Dizzy Heights portion I can't really interact with, but that's fine because the stage's underworld is a viable alternate path. But then this gap at the end is truly insurmountable. Which means all 17 times this game came up, we were treated with elimination. Really? After all we've attempted, after all we've done, this? Volleyfall only came up once, and thank goodness for that. The basic gameplay here is jumping into the ball to knock it onto your opponent's side of the court. See the issue? Yeah, this one for all intents and purposes is impossible. And the fact that I scored any points there is quite the indictment on our opponents. Gate Crash came up 13 times. And boy, is this one a doozy. The opening is fine, if mildly annoying, but yet again, a gap at the end proves to be this game's greatest obstacle. But this one, thanks to the slime, can be crossed successfully, if you have just about perfect timing. Seriously, if you're even slightly off, down to the depths of despair with you. But if you do get it right, oh sweet the taste of qualification is. Okay, you just have to go for it. It's now or never. It's now! Star Chart came up just once in the course of this challenge, and actually in that one time, I was pretty good at it. What can I say? I guess my navigational skills are on point. Unfortunately, my stepping over small obstacles skills are not. Yes, this tiny step at the end proved to be too much for our guy to overcome without jumping. And so, what should have been by all rights an outright victory was instead squandered and turned into disqualification. Really? On the last hurdle? Please, somebody, anybody, help me! The whirligig features this ledge very early on. There is no way we can get up it. So all 13 times the whirligig came up resulted in the end of our attempt. Oh, come on! Apparently it's whirligig season. Treetop Tumble came up but once. And what a shame for it to have been so rare. It was actually pretty fun. Sure, we ended up stuck taking the low road for most of it, and were unable to get out of the water on said low road, but that was nothing that getting a checkpoint and dying couldn't fix. So honestly, overall, I really can't call this game anything but a success. This has been a good learning experience. Get out of my way, you parrots! Okay, we actually qualified. Wow. Night Fever came up 12 times and is honestly probably my favorite round 1 game. Sure, some may have trouble with the spinning pink cones or the swinging spiked pendulums, but not me. Ultimately, I qualified from this game literally every time it came up. Night Fever, this is our go-to game. If you ever see us not qualify from Night Fever, then I think that's actually one of the signs mentioned in the book of Revelations. Track Attack features a bit of bouncing, which is distinct from jumping and therefore allowed. And honestly, nabbing the qualification here was pretty easy. Unfortunately, we only got the chance once. Jeez, what is everyone else doing with their lives? I felt like I was doing terribly, but I qualified like top 10. Roll On occurred 11 separate times. And man, do people have trouble with this one. Like, it's not hard, guys. Just have the slightest bit of patience when choosing your moment to advance. Like, remember, you don't need to win a round 1 game. You just need to not lose. And not losing is something we were great at. Successfully not losing 100% of the time, in fact. Even in spite of this annoying gap on the last roller, which forced us to wait for it to pass whenever we encountered it. Hey, don't you push. Man, whatever happened to politeness in society? Whatever happened to deference towards the people in front of you in line? And now we're just pushing our way through? Snowball survival wasn't easy per se. It's basically impossible to keep track of its multiple snowballs simultaneously, and I certainly didn't get out of here without taking a couple of hits. But that's where your positioning on the snowflake comes in handy. Don't be on the edge, and it becomes much less likely you'll be victimized by the snowballs. I saw this game once, and qualified once. Yeah, okay, and then that's gonna come that way, so we gotta be prepared for that. And that's coming straight at me, but we were prepared for it. Seesaw was honestly one of the most engaging games in the pack. You find yourself having to skillfully navigate the seesaws as hordes of your opponents try to do the same, often to your detriment. We do have a bit of a harder time than our opponents due to our inability to jump, thus making it so that we need much more favorable conditions than our opponents to make a successful transfer from one seesaw to another. But given the dynamic situation of the seesaws, such opportunities usually present themselves if you have just a bit of patience. The worst part of the whole course is at the end here, where the platform you have to reach is stationary and higher than any of the others. Usually your best bet here is to try to use your opponents as counterweights as you angle for your own glory. That being said, it is possible to pull it off on your own, but you've got to get quite extreme with the angles you put the seesaw in. In light of all this, I succeeded in 90% of my 10 times facing this minigame. We're all in this together. We are like a crew, a team. Our interests align because we... Oh, okay, I guess they don't anymore. Rollout I barely feel qualified to speak to. I only saw it once, and it only lasted for a bit over 20 seconds. I just walked around a bit and qualified. I guess my opponents were just really incompetent. How are 12 people already eliminated? What the heck happened? People are... Really? Really, guys? Tiptoe is a game I actually feel like I got pretty good at over the course of this challenge. I even devised this fun strategy where I would push other players onto tiles to check if they were real. Unfortunately, these tiles are not connected to the finish line, and as far as I can tell, you must jump or dive to actually cross said finish line. Now, there was this spinning hammer I tried to use on many occasions, which maybe technically could perhaps have a chance to whack you straight into qualification. I just know that I never managed to get the timing right for that to happen, so ultimately all 10 times Tiptoe came up ended in elimination. Oh! Wow, that was useful. I saw Fruit Shoot twice, and know it's technically possible to qualify from, because I made it right up to the finish line on one of those occasions. But I also know it's possible to get stuck at the end of the conveyor and then get pelted away by a pretzel rod. Which, just as an aside, isn't even a fruit, so like, not only do I feel robbed, but I also feel defrauded here. Anyway, long story short, though it's possible to qualify from a Fruit Shoot, in this challenge both times I saw it, I got eliminated. But hopefully our competition is incompetent enough to give us a fair shake. What the pretzel rod? No! Jump Club was a name I was not exactly excited to see, given what it is we are trying to achieve here. And indeed, I quickly got bullied and swept away on this minigame. On my first 2 attempts, that is. On the next 7, I discovered that, at least against the quite unimpressive competition I was facing, I could actually qualify by just chasing the arm around until enough people fell to end the minigame. So overall, I ended up qualifying from Jump Club 78% of the time. Come on, guys. We qualified Jump Club! Ha! Speed Circuit is a high-speed race that I clumsily fumbled my way through on my first attempt. Ultimately, I lost. But then came my second attempt, where I used my newfound knowledge of the course to speed my way into qualification, and yeah, not being able to jump was a bit of a hindrance, but not enough to keep us from qualifying. But the question remains, are we in the top 26 right now? I doubt it, but, you know, it's possible. DoorDash, I figured, would be pretty easy. So you'd think I'd be glad for its 9 appearances in the course of this challenge. I was not. As it turns out, the teethy thresholds of these doors are insurmountable without jumping. So yeah, this one's just completely impossible. Well, so much for that one. I should have qualified from Perfect Match both times it came up. Really, jumping has almost nothing to do with your success in this minigame. However, on one of the attempts, I did try to murder someone at the end of the minigame, and just ended up dooming myself instead. Not my finest moment. Oh, no! I guess that's what I get for trying to commit murder. Tundra Run came up 7 times and was about Night Fever levels of difficulty. That is to say, a guaranteed qualification whenever we came across it. Could we be number 1? Could we be the best there ever was? Yes, we can! Leading Light is all about selfishly hogging the spotlight. So perfect for a YouTuber, am I right? Anyway, would jumping make your life easier here? Yes, it certainly would, but it's far from necessary for the sake of navigation through this arena. And our opponents, I'll be honest, seem almost brain dead when it comes to this minigame, leading to a 100% qualification rate, the 2 times we were faced with Leading Lights. How are you only at 6%? Like, you would have thought, by random chance, you would have hit it at least 1 time before that. Dude, it's closed. You know, sometimes one door closes and another one opens, but, you know, keyword being another. There's maybe one area in Hit Parade where jumping would be helpful, even then not by much. Honestly, the hardest part is the slimy slope at the end, but it's not uniquely difficult for us. I won't pretend that there weren't any close calls, but ultimately our Hit Parade attempts were 6 for 6. Okay, I did get hit, but it is the Hit Parade, so it's on brand. I thought big shots would be easy. Indeed, perhaps I let hubris and overconfidence get the best of me. For while this game may not have any difficulties in it that should have been particularly aggravated by our challenge's rules, nevertheless, out of the 4 times I saw the minigame, I only qualified in half of them. So yeah, this may actually be the minigame I'm the worst at. Sans challenge rules, even. This is actually kind of intense with so few people. No! The Swiveler is a game we should have no chance in. I mean, we can't even get past the second obstacle of it. But apparently neither can most of our opponents. Like, seriously guys, I can't jump. What's your excuse? Well, in any case, we qualify 5 out of the 6 times we see the Swiveler. Yeah, I don't get why you guys find this obstacle so difficult. I mean, yes, I personally don't do it. That was a qualification, technically. Ski Fall occurred 5 times. The first time I saw it, things didn't go well exactly. There's only so much you can do to qualify from a minigame all about jumping through point-scoring hoops when you can't jump. And by only so much you can do, I of course mean, you can ignore most of them and just ride a fan at the end into the final target repeatedly, which works every single time after our first attempt. Woo! 7th place with that strategy. How? And that's where we stand when it comes to Fall Guys games. Those are all of the non-final games which I encountered. Now obviously I can't comment on the ones that I just didn't encounter in the course of the challenge. But of the ones I did encounter, many of them were outright impossible. Many were more or less guaranteed qualifications. And a few were real uncertain battles for survival. Ultimately, sheer chance plays a great role in the outcome of all of our attempts of this challenge. Just one impossible game out of the usual 4 to 5, and the whole attempt is squandered. But as frustrating as that may be, there are games which can come up in each and every round that we can qualify from. And so, amidst the hours of struggle, there are times when we taste the finals. But the finals? Honestly, they're a bit of a different beast entirely. One final I encountered was Hexagon. In this final, the goal is to be the last one standing on a multi-layered arena of hexes which disappear shortly after you step on them. Now, in theory, this shouldn't require jumping. But in practice, the best way to preserve your hexes long-term, to actually be able to outlast your opponents, is by jumping from hex to hex as opposed to running. So yeah, not exactly great prospects here. Hexaterrestrial is like Hexagon, except that it's only a single layer of hexes, and these hexes come back. That should, in theory, make it a bit more friendly towards a no-jump run of it. But that doesn't mean it'll be easy, especially once the walls close in. And then there's Roll-Off. Now Roll-On I'm amazing at, so hopefully that skill can translate to Roll-Off, though it gets pretty fast and hectic towards the end. I don't think anyone would deny that. But really the biggest issue we face across these finals is the fact that we need to win. We can't just squeak by in the middle of the pack here like on other rounds. Either we come out undisputedly on top, or we fail and are sent back to the start. So am I up to the task? Let's find out. I'm dead! No! Die already, you fools! No! Well, goodbye. In we go, across, okay. Cut him off! Cut him off at the pass! Yes! 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 So, as you can see, yes, it can be done. After a show consisting of Hit Parade, Tundra Run, Jump Club, and Hexaterrestrial, we proved today that it is possible to win Fall Guys without jumping. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do consider checking out some of my other content, like my recent Splatoon 3 challenge. And if you want to see all the ups and downs of this challenge in real time, check out the corresponding Let's Play on my Let's Play channel. And in general, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and if you really want to support the channel and get some fun perks for your trouble, consider backing the Patreon like these fine individuals on screen, particularly our $15 tier patrons, Enigmatic Mr. L and Bethany Bennett. But anyways guys, until next time, I have been Supercraft, and I will catch you in the next bit of content I reel in for your enjoyment. Goodbye.